Hey, so let's talk about why most service providers stay broke and how to fix it. Let's talk to the service provider who wants to be a multiplier and who wants to move their lack mindset into a state of abundance. So let's go ahead and hop into today's podcast episode. Welcome to Overthinking to Overflow, the podcast where entrepreneurs and big dreamers like yourself stop standing in the way and start stepping into alignment, clarity, and abundance. I'm Dr. TK, clinical psychologist, business mentor, and your guide to shifting from overthinking to unstoppable action. In each episode, we'll explore mindset shifts, self-care, and aligned strategies to help you reclaim your energy, your time, and purpose so that you can pour into your dreams from a cup that is overflowing. So let's break through the limits holding you back and create the life and business you're destined for. Are you ready? Let's dive in. Hey y'all, welcome back. My name is Dr. TK, clinical psychologist and therapist business coach. And this is your daily dose of moving from overthinking to overflow because we are going to be talking about how to break the cycle of underpricing. All right. So if you are in the position to take notes, I would highly encourage it because these are going to be some significant mindset gems that you definitely want to hold on to. So let's go ahead and get into it. Number one, you are the foundation of your business. So when you think about that from a mindset perspective, what do you believe about yourself affects how you show up? So you definitely want to attach yourself to the mindset of a abundant CEO who will trust themselves to do good. They will be able to get into circles and get a skill set to build themselves up. This is the individual that knows that they are destined to multiply their resources. And most importantly, again, when you trust yourself, you will automatically move into that next level. So think about it. If you're constantly doubting like your worth, you're constantly doubting what you're good at, that will lead to a serious pattern of undercharging, maybe even some feelings of resentment toward the service that you're undercharging for. And then it can snowball into refusing to step into a leadership role, like, no, I'm good because I don't understand my worth, but that may not be on a conscious level. And then ultimately, you're blocking yourself from the expansion and evolution of your current brand and business that is already yours. And the reason I can confidently say that it's already yours is that all of us have a life narrative that has been written for us. And this is where dreams come from. This is where vision comes from. You don't have those dreams just to like dissipate in thin air. But on the other hand, this is why the cemetery is one of the richest places on earth. And it's primarily because a lot of people die with the shoulda, coulda, woulda mindset. Also, when you think about how you believe in yourself affects how you show up, is that the biggest wealth building move that you can make today is trusting that the work that you do is valuable enough to command high ticket pricing and premium clients. Now, I do understand that based on what type of service you may render will determine the dollar amount. So, for example, if it is mental health services, the traditional kind, not hyper intensives for 2 to 4 hours, because some people do have packages like that. But typically, high ticket would be $250, $350, $500, depending on who you serve. Now, when you start branching out to one to many, when you're hosting a group, the lump sum of how much you can charge for more of a package may go into the 4 to 5 digits. So just understand that trusting in yourself sets the tone for everything in your business that follows, especially pricing. Number two, consistency and integrity builds wealth. So when you hear the word integrity, because I use integrity in my business as a core value, and this is a principle that is on the forefront of our company, but also me as a wife, woman, and just a person, is that integrity is you put your word out there and your word is bond. You're transparent. You don't mind communicating what's going on so that other people can understand what's going on around you, right? So are you operating with CEO level discipline, or are you acting like an employee with an EIN number? So when you think about the integral CEO, what comes to mind is words like consistent, reliable, and diligent. When you think about wealth, I see wealth and the word rich very differently. So my personal opinion is rich is more toward material goods and things that are accumulated over time. It can also be based off the way that you live, lifestyle. Now, to me, wealth is more about the intangible. For example, time. There's a great book out there. I think his name is Don Martell, but he wrote a book called Buy Back Your Time. It is a really good book that I highly recommend all of my community members and clients read, because we don't realize that we're exchanging time for dollars, and we think it's going to move the needle in our business, when in actuality, because you're not operating in your genius zone, you're actually losing money. So wealth is not just about how much money you make, right? It's about how well you manage what you actually have and what you're going to do with the money that you've earned. Wealth is also linked to your reputation. So, for example, for my reputation in my business, I pride myself on showing up in a particular way with my brand. Now, it doesn't mean that, for example, on social media, that I always showcase myself with like a full face of makeup and fully dressed to the nine, like I'm going out to a concert. Like, I'm not saying that, because I also believe in the power of personal branding. And people these days, because we are in a trust recession, people these days want to relate to a regular person, not just a person who was made up for a photo shoot. Okay. So that is reputation. And then you also want to think about relationship capital. Your wealth is dictated by the circle that you hang around. I noticed that when I would run in certain circles, my revenue would automatically shoot up. Why? Because we're having higher level conversations. Also, what you want to consider is that high level service providers who hit $250,000 annually gross and up, these are people who do not operate with last minute procrastination, frantic all over the place energy in which they can't get stuff done. These are individuals who have clear plans. They automate their business, they delegate in their business, they delegate in their household, and they have structures and systems that will allow them time to have peace and flow. They can operate throughout their day with intention. Number 3, investing in the right things. This is key when it comes down to bridging the gap between lack mindset and being able to charge your worth. Stop expecting 6-figure results with a broke mindset and or a $10 investment. So when you think about investing, the main difference between investing and expense is that when you invest in something, you should be getting something out of it. Now, let's just say if you're investing in stocks, you may think, okay, well, it needs to give me a ROI, but I didn't really do anything. But you did. You chose the vehicle that your money was placed in. Well, there's no difference in, let's just say, when you went to school. You chose the school as the vehicle to deliver the information to get you to the graduation mark. But here's the thing, you also had to show up and do the work to graduate, to do your thesis statement, to pass the test, to complete your dissertation. Same thing goes for the licensing exam if you're a therapist, or any other trade or field in which you had to take licensing exams to actually practice your work. And the same thing goes for business. You definitely want to understand that what you put in is what you get out. And you want to choose the right vehicle, being real with yourself with what you actually need help with right now that you're ready to move on. So an abundant CEO who understands their worth, They don't waste time and they don't waste resources. So, wasting time, I'm going to bring in our coaching programs. Wasting time to me is making an investment that has a live access component and not using it to a level that matches my capacity. So, does that mean that you show up live? Not necessarily. But if you feel like showing up live is going to help you move in your business, then make accommodations to show up live. Now, there are two different levels of programs. Now, for example, a larger group coaching program in which for one of our programs, they got alumni access for when we ever hosted Zoom calls, then we don't expect those individuals to come to every single Zoom call for the rest of their life. But then we also have a mastermind. Now, the mastermind people were hand selected and curated to be part of a group experience. So our expectation in our company is that they actually come to every single call because it's not that many and it's for a shorter period of time. And you definitely get out what you put in because there is no alumni access with a mastermind. You either renew or you take what you have and then you go and you scale your business. You also want to not waste resources. If you have access to resources, use them, become resourceful. So there's a lot of service providers that stay stuck in their business primarily because of something that we hate to admit, but they're afraid to invest in mentorship, in systems, or in hiring somebody because maybe they even have trust issues, either based off things that they've heard, things that they've seen, or things that they've experienced. So if you're running a business on free gas, free strategies like YouTube videos, and don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with consuming people's free content, but you really want to ask yourself, how much time am I giving to watching all these free videos? And how much action have I taken from these free videos? You also may be running your business from trial and error, and ain't nothing wrong with experimenting in your business. However, if you're constantly shifting what you're focused on in terms of a stream of income, and you're not allowing yourself to, for example, go through all the phases of launching a product, because the last phase is typically the miss phase, which is debrief on what just happened. You want to do a reflection and a review. What could have been done better? Why are you moving to the next product? If any of this happens when you're writing on free gas, free strategies, trial and error, just binge watching videos, consuming information with no implementation, then you're actually delaying the wealth that again is already meant for you and that is waiting for you. So ask yourself, are you treating your business like an actual business or is it an expensive hobby? And expensive is relative to time and or money. All right. So let's go into some tips that I have beyond mindset of how do you start moving into the multi six figure mindset. So, number one, charge premium prices and own your worth. So, do not settle for bare minimum results. Pursue excellence. I actually just watched on the YouTube channel, The Diary of a CEO. They have some excellent interviews. And I am a person where I love digging deep into a case study of someone who is very, very successful. Like I will figure out my way to get my own documentary needs met, right? Because I like to see, even with YouTube creators or Disney creators, I like to pull up on my phone, what did their first video look like? And then what does it look like now in terms of content, footage, audio, all the things, because sometimes we only look at somebody's year 10 and we forget that they had a year 1. So they were interviewing Mr. Beast and it was a super good podcast episode. That boy has wisdom well beyond his years. But one of the things of many that stood out is they had asked him about his team and hiring and some of the things around hiring as it relates to excellence. I'll paraphrase it, sounded something like, who do you hire? And he says, I'm not going to waste my time hiring somebody who's going to be with me for 6 months. I want to hire somebody who's invested in my business like I am. They're fired up in my business like I am. They want to be in the business for 10 plus years like I am. And I said, well, that's a word. We're not looking for temporary fixes around here. We want people who are enrolled in the vision, not just us being hyped up about our business. Another thing that he mentioned when someone says, what type of traits do you look for and what do you stay away from? And ultimately, he said, I don't do mediocre. And I said, oof, that was good. He does not do mediocre. If you're not of excellence caliber with your mindset, with your traits, and what you can bring to the table, you're not it. Get out the circle. So pursue excellence. Also, if you want to hit 250K and up, you cannot build a business off low ticket services and burnout. So let me be clear. If you do want to do digital products, there are a lot of people who make millions of dollars doing low ticketed offers, sales throughout the year. However, you have to keep in mind that a lot of their clients are new sales, which means that you have to be marketing on a consistent basis. And the young women that I see on Instagram that are doing this are killing the game. But when I look at their pattern and their history, they're not playing no games. So if you want high value clients to pay for results, not just sessions, high value clients pay for results, not just sessions. So people who are paying premium dollar for one-on-one therapy, one-on-one coaching, a container, they are paying for time being condensed. They don't want to sit here and watch 10 hours of YouTube videos. Give me the cliff notes. Just tell me what is in my yellow brick road so I can take the next steps. They don't just want to pay for, I get 6 sessions. So you also want to position yourself as a premium service provider. If you look mediocre and you sound mediocre and you don't have confidence, but you desire to attract people to pay you premium, those two don't match. Number 2 tip with having this different mindset is build systems that work without you. So you must step into the zone that you got to learn how to master and manage resources and delegation. And delegation is twofold. It can be to a person and or a system or both. So when you look at systems, you want to consider, what can I automate in my business and in my life? What can I delegate? There was a little phrase that I would tell myself, and it was something like, delegate one thing a day. Delegate one thing a day. So when I'm maneuvering through my day, I would ask myself, what is something that I can get off my plate by tomorrow? It could be simple things. And the reason why I know I got really good at it is that I start having like that little voice in my head that says, you should not be doing this. And I'm sure that you've had that voice in your head with something. You also want to structure your business that can scale beyond the typical $100,000 mark without working more. Now, the only way to really do that is to delegate things off your plate so that you are operating in your genius zone, because your genius zone is the thing that's going to get you more money, not doing customer service tasks. So start thinking about, what systems can I set up for if I'm hiring somebody for onboarding? What systems can I set up for marketing so that when I get a social media manager, they at least know, how do I post? How do I like my blog post, my LinkedIn post to look? What does my YouTube process look like? When you are getting in front of new qualified leads, new prospective clients, what does the consultation process look like? Because money will start coming in. But here's the thing, and I learned this old tale a long time ago. You do not want to be that person that starts desiring more money and getting more money, and then your business cannot catch the money, so your business collapses. So you want money when it comes in to start working for you, even when you're not working. Tip number 3, surround yourself with high-level mentorship and opportunities. So a successful business owner does not operate in isolation. They work alongside of other people who want to contribute to their growth. This is why I value when I do create space for a community, even if it's a member-driven online community like a Facebook group or Telegram group. I want people to see that if you just simply go in there to talk about what you've been doing this week, you'd be amazed what people will respond and what they will respond with, and how that can also catapult your growth, because now y'all can have a discussion. So you cannot expect to reach the multi 6-figure brand entrepreneur if you're surrounding yourself with people who think small. There's a quote in the personal development world, which is you should not be the smartest person in your circle. Another one is you are the average of the 5 to 7 people you give your time to. So when you think about mentorship and coaching, it collapses the timeline. And what takes people years, like myself, to figure out on our own can be fast tracked when you invest in the right guidance. And I can personally attest to that. As soon as I found a coach, because it wasn't like I wasn't looking in grad school, even I knew that I wanted to have a private practice, but the only thing near coaching for therapists at that time was just teaching me how to get on an insurance panel. And at that time, that was not something that I was interested in. So once an opportunity presented itself for me to just be in a room with multi 6-figure and 7-figure earners when I was working at my county job, making 6 figures and having different streams of income, working well over 60 to 70 hours a week, I realized that there was different ways that I can grow my business, even if these people are not therapists. And it's because I'm in the right circle. So as we wrap up this episode, I want to just close it out with a reflection. Are you operating like a multi 6-figure brand and CEO? Do you fully believe that you are worthy of premium pricing, wealth, and impact? Are you running your business with clarity, intention, and CEO level focus? Are you willing to let go of the hustle for every dollar, I just got to get my bills paid mindset and build scalable systems? So I firmly believe that the next level of your business is waiting for you, but it does require you to think, move, and operate differently. All right. So in closing, what's one belief or habit you need to shift today to step into your next level? Depending on where you're listening to this podcast episode, if you are listening on the audio podcast, hop over to the DMs on Instagram and holla at your girl, or you can always drop a comment on the bottom of this episode on the YouTube channel. Subscribe, like this podcast episode, and I will talk to y'all in the next episode. Bye. Thank you so much for tuning into Overthinking to Overflow, where we turn mental blocks into breakthroughs and build a life of alignment and abundance. If you love today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who needs this message. Remember, overflow is your birthright. Get out of your own way, take inspired action, and I will see you in the next episode.